You are not the monster in this story. You are the vehicle. You begin your life in water, in a puddle that will be gone within a week. You hatch as a larva, hanging just beneath the surface, breathing through a tube at the back of your body and filtering microscopic food out of the water. You have no interest in blood. You have never seen a human. For now, you are a swimming thing in a small pool that could dry up at any moment. You survive. Most do not. You become a pupa. Then you break the surface and pull yourself out with wings that were folded inside you the whole time. You dry them. You take off. You are now an adult, and for the first few days of flight, you feed only on plant sugars, nectar, fruit juice. That is your fuel, and if nothing changes, that is all you will ever need. Then you mate, and your body switches its priority. Your eggs need a resource that no flour can provide. To build them, you require large amounts of protein and iron, and there is exactly one source available to you. This is why only females bite. Males live their entire lives on sugar and never take a single drop of blood. You did not choose this. Your biology now requires it, and until you find blood, your eggs cannot develop. So you begin to hunt. You do not hunt with eyes. Your vision is poor, and you are searching for a target you cannot see. Instead, you follow chemistry. Every human being exhales carbon dioxide continuously, and you can detect that plume from a considerable distance. You lock onto it and fly upwind in a zigzag pattern, holding onto the trail. When you get closer, more signals arrive. Body heat, moisture, lactic acid on the skin. The mixture of compounds produced by bacteria living on human skin, which is part of why some people get bitten far more often than others. You are not choosing a victim. You are following a gradient, the way water follows a slope. You land. Now everything depends on not being noticed. Your mouth parts are not a single needle. They are a bundle of separate structures held inside a flexible sheath. When you feed, that sheath bends back and stays outside, while thin, saw-edged blades cut through skin and a hollow tube slides down between them, searching for a blood vessel. You inject saliva before you drink. That saliva contains compounds that stop blood from clotting, because clotting would block your feeding tube within seconds. It contains compounds that widen the blood vessel so the flow comes faster. It contains substances that dull the immediate sensation, which is why the bite is often noticed only afterward. The itch that appears later is not the bite. It is the immune reaction to your saliva. You drink until your abdomen swells to several times its normal weight. Flying is now difficult. You are slow, heavy, and easy to kill. You lift off anyway and find somewhere dark to rest while your body processes the meal and builds your eggs. You have done nothing unusual. This is a mosquito completing a normal feeding cycle, and if that were the end of it, you would be an irritation and nothing more. But that human was already infected, and you just swallowed something. Quick pause, and I mean this sincerely. If you are still watching this far in, you are already more invested in this channel than almost anyone on the internet, and one click from you genuinely changes the numbers on my screen today. It costs you nothing. It would mean a lot to me. Subscribe and let me keep making these. Back to the blood. Inside the blood you just drank are microscopic single-celled parasites, and they were waiting for a mosquito to arrive. In your stomach, they do something they cannot do inside a human. They reproduce sexually. Male and female forms fuse, producing a new cell that can move under its own power. That cell burrows through the wall of your gut and settles on the outer surface. Something is now growing inside your body, attached to your intestine, and you cannot remove it. There it swells into a cyst, and inside that cyst the parasite divides again and again until it contains thousands of long, thin, thread-like cells. When the cyst finally bursts, those thousands of parasites are released into the fluid that circulates through your body cavity. They travel through you. And they have a destination. They move toward your salivary glands, invade them, and settle in exactly the tissue that produces the fluid you inject into every human you bite. They are not hiding there by accident. They have positioned themselves in the one organ that guarantees delivery into your next victim. You are now a loaded weapon, and you have no idea. This takes time, roughly 10 days to 2 weeks depending on temperature, which means the parasite has a problem. Mosquitoes do not live long. If you die before the process completes, the parasite dies with you, and the entire cycle fails. So its survival now depends on yours. And this is where the relationship gets uncomfortable. Research on infected mosquitoes has found changes in feeding behavior that happen to benefit the parasite. During the period when the parasite is still developing and not yet transmissible, infected mosquitoes have been observed feeding more cautiously. Later, once the parasite has reached the salivary glands and is ready to transmit, infected mosquitoes have been found to bite more persistently, to be more strongly attracted to human odor, and to probe more often before completing a meal. The exact mechanisms are still being studied, and results vary between studies and species. But the pattern points somewhere unsettling. Your behavior may not be entirely your own. You feel the same. You are doing what a mosquito does. You are following carbon dioxide, landing, probing, drinking. There is no sensation of being steered. There is nothing inside your nervous system that says a passenger has adjusted the settings. And you gain nothing from any of this. The parasite does not make you stronger. It does not feed you. Carrying it costs energy, can shorten your life, and in some cases reduces the number of eggs you produce. You pay the entire bill, and the parasite collects the entire benefit. You are not a predator. You are transport. Then you find your next human. Carbon dioxide, heat, skin chemistry. You land on an arm in the dark and your mouth parts cut down through the skin, and before you drink anything, you inject saliva. The parasites go in with it. You take perhaps 100 of them, sometimes fewer, and it is enough. They leave the bite site within minutes, enter the bloodstream, and travel to the liver, where they invade liver cells and multiply in silence. The person feels nothing. There are no symptoms. Nothing has gone wrong yet, as far as they know. Days later, the parasites burst out of the liver and invade red blood cells. Now they multiply inside those cells, rupture them, and invade more. The cycle repeats on a rough schedule, and each mass rupture releases waste and cell debris that triggers the immune response responsible for the violent, cycling fevers and chills that define malaria. The person is now seriously ill, and you are gone. You flew away that night to lay your eggs in standing water, and you will never encounter that human again. Then another mosquito arrives, drinks that infected blood, and swallows the next generation of parasites. The loop closes. This is why the mosquito is consistently described as the deadliest animal on Earth for humans. Not because of what it is, but because of what it carries. Malaria alone still causes hundreds of thousands of deaths every year, the majority of them children under 5 in sub-Saharan Africa. Malaria is only one passenger. Mosquitoes also transmit dengue, yellow fever, Zika, chikungunya, and West Nile virus, each with its own biology and its own route through the insect's body. You did not evolve to spread disease. You evolved to convert blood into eggs. The parasites evolved to exploit an animal that reliably moves from one human bloodstream to another, and you are the most reliable one available. You are the road, not the traveler. Your entire life lasts a few weeks. You will lay several batches of eggs, feed a handful of times, and die in a corner somewhere, without ever knowing that anything was living inside your salivary glands. There was never a decision. There was never intent. There was carbon dioxide and warmth and a body that needed protein. The thing you carried had the plan. You just followed the gradient. If you made it to the end of this one, please subscribe. These videos take a long time to research and animate, and right now the only thing keeping this channel going is the small number of people who click that button. Be one of them, and I will keep making them.